Raleigh Historic Development Commission Certificate of Appropriateness Committee. My name is Wes Tripp, and I am chair of the committee. The COA Committee is a quasi-judicial body governed by North Carolina General Statutes and the city's Unified Development Ordinance. We are authorized to hear requests for certificates of appropriateness. I'll now recognize staff to conduct the roll call.
Jordan Ryland.
Here.
Rob Allen.
Here.
Wes Tripp.
Here.
Lauren Woodard.
Here.
Trishana Sanchez.
Here.
And Melissa Todd is excused.
On that note, a member of this committee, Melissa Todd, is present in the chamber but not sitting at the dais. Does the member wish to participate in the quasi-judicial hearings on today's agenda? All right. How does the member wish to have the member's presence classified for the record? As absent? Okay. In that case, I make a motion that Melissa Todd shall not participate in today's quasi-judicial hearings, but acknowledge the member's desire to be classified as present. Is there a second to the motion?
Seconded.
Any discussion or debate?
Didn't the member say they wish to be absent?
Yes. Recognized as absent in the record.
Okay, thank you.
Any discussion or debate on the motion?
Nope.
Hearing none, the question for the committee is the motion that Melissa Todd not participate in today's quasi-judicial hearings and be acknowledged as absent in the record. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right, next I will recognize staff for, next we'll do the approval of the agenda. The agenda as published is before you all. I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next is approval of the minutes from the May 22, 2025 meeting. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as published.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Seconded.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Now I'll recognize staff for their minor work report.
Yes. So in the past month, 13 minor works were approved. And for everyone attending and everyone at home, the application numbers, addresses, and a brief description are available in the meeting agenda, and full applications can be viewed on the city's website.
Thank you. Now we're ready to move on to our hearings, but before that, I have a brief introduction on the conduct of today's hearings. In hearing cases, the committee conducts a quasi-judicial evidentiary hearing. This means that the hearing is like a court hearing. State law sets specific procedures and rules concerning how this committee must make its decisions. These rules are different from some other types of land use decisions like rezoning cases, which are legislative in nature. The committee's decisions are constrained by the standard of review set forth in state law and the Unified Development Ordinance and the facts presented at the hearing. The committee hears and considers evidence presented at the hearing and applies the standards set forth in state law and the city's ordinance. The committee must base its decisions upon competent, material, and substantial evidence presented at the hearing. If you will be speaking as a witness, please focus on the facts and standard, not personal preference or opinion. Participation in today's hearings are limited. This meeting is open to the public. Everyone is welcome to watch. Parties have rights to participate fully. Parties may present evidence, call witnesses, and make legal arguments. Witnesses may testify as to facts to which they are competent to testify, so long as those facts relate to the legal standard. In addition, lay or non-expert witness testimony is limited to facts, not opinions. For certain topics, this committee needs to hear opinion testimony from expert witnesses. These topics include projections about impacts on property values and projections about impacts on traffic safety. We will now move on and conduct the evidentiary hearings on today's agenda. The first matter up for hearing is COA 56-2025, 407 Northeast Street. Before staff is recognized to present their staff report, if you haven't already, I forgot to mention this earlier, please sign in on the table up front. I have the applicant for this matter, please come forward. Yes, all right, already up front. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Melanie Lisis.
I'm going to go ahead and swear you in, and then we'll move on to the staff presentation. Will you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right. I'll recognize staff for their presentation.
Would you like to also swear staff in first?
Yes, thank you for that reminder. Please raise your right hands. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Awesome. Thank you. You may proceed.
I do.
All right, so as Chair Tripp has mentioned, this is case COA 56, 2025 for 407 Northeast Street. It is located in the Oakwood Historic District, and the nature of the request is to install a 6-foot-tall rear fence. This is a view of the property from Northeast Street. And just taking a quick walk around, this is a view from close to the sidewalk, a view from the rear yard. Only one property line in the rear yard is proposed to have the new fence. The rest of the rear property lines are already fenced, so this will fill in the rear yard fence line. This is the existing west fence line, and this is what is proposed in the application to match that design. And there are no staff concerns.
I now recognize the applicant for their presentation.
So I didn't bring my slides from the submission. However, I think that the staff summarized it very well. There's one piece of fence remaining of the rear yard. There.
Can you move the microphone a little closer to
sorry.
you? Thanks.
Yeah, there's only one piece of the fencing that is not constructed currently. The adjacent lots have two sides enclosed in, and actually the house to the south also has side fencing, which already fences half of my lot line as well. So really, it's just closing the gap between what already exists that all the other neighbors have already built, so that I can enclose the rear yard.
All right. Thank you very much. We'll go ahead and have a seat. We'll have any, well, are there any members of the public who wish to provide comment on this application? All right, seeing none, we'll see if move on to committee questions, if there are any for the applicant. No questions. Any questions from the committee? All right, seeing none, you can have a seat. Thank you very much. We'll proceed with committee discussion on the matter.
Seems pretty straightforward request.
Any other comments from the committee?
Agreed.
Nope.
All right, who wants to make the
I'll
motion?
make a motion. Based on the congruity analysis, the application and the presentation tonight, I move to approve the application as submitted.
Motion is made. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion or debate on the motion? Hearing none, question before the committee's approval of the application. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Congratulations. The matter will be final after next month's meeting when the minutes are approved and signed. So thank you. All right, next matter on the agenda, COA 66, 2025, 306 Linden Avenue. Please come forward and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Abhinav Singhal.
Are you the property owner?
I am, yes.
Excellent. I'll go ahead and raise your right hand. I'll swear you in. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Great, thank you. I'll recognize staff for their presentation, and you can have a seat while they're presenting.
All right, this is case COA 66, 2025. It's for 306 Linden Avenue in the Oakwood Historic District. The request is to construct a side gate. This is the property as viewed from Linden Avenue. Currently, you can see there's a front yard fence already, a view on the south side with some existing fencing at the front wall, and then the area that the applicant would like to enclose with a gate looking toward the rear yard. And a detail toward that gate location, no staff concerns.
All right, please come forward, and you can present your application if you have anything else you'd like to add.
Nothing. I think the staff presented it well. It's just that I've had quite a few trespassing incidents on my property, and that's the reason the intent is to get the backyard enclosed.
All right, thank you.
That's it.
All right, thanks. Are there any members of the public who wish to provide comment on the application? All right, seeing none, we'll move to committee questions, if there are any of the applicant.
None.
All right, we'll close the evidentiary hearing, move to committee discussion. Any comments on the application?
Seems Seems like a reasonable request.
All right, who wants to make a motion?
I'll make a motion. Based on the staff report, the application, and the testimony provided during this public meeting, I move to approve the application as submitted.
Is there a second?
Seconded.
Any discussion or debate? Hearing none, the question for the committee is approval of the application. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Congratulations. The decision will be final after next month's meeting when the minutes are approved and signed. Congratulations. All right. Next is COA 68, 2025, 417 Watauga Street. The applicant and any other individuals, please come forward to present their application. I'll go ahead and recognize staff for their presentation on the matter while the applicant's coming down.
This is case COA 68, 2025. It's for 417 Watauga Street, also in the Oakwood Historic District. The request is to construct a new primary structure, construct a new two-car garage, construct a driveway, fence, front walk, retaining wall, remove trees, plant replacement trees, and install landscaping. And as you can see on the map here, this is a vacant lot, never previously developed. So these are just going to be some cursory images of the existing lot as viewed from Watauga Street. You can see the southern property line and fencing on the left of this photo. Looking deeper into the lot, a streetscape perspective with the neighboring vacant lot. And you can see the apparent drop-off at the front of the lot. There's some plumbing rough ends now to help illustrate better what that grade change is. And the applicants have brought a presentation and some new information for consideration.
I recognize the applicant. Oh, I'm sorry.
Apologies. A summary of staff concerns, a very brief summary, refer to the staff report for the full explanation, would be the apparent, potential apparent scale of the building from the street, the side elevation fenestration pattern, the proposed built area, and the extent of the proposed rear concrete pad, and impacts to the mature canopy.
All right, now I recognize the applicant. You can go ahead and introduce yourself and who all you're with.
Ashley Morris, and I'm with Pell Street Studio Architect.
Keith Brouillard, have the property under contract to purchase.
All right, the floor is yours.
Have
Let
they
me go ahead and
been sworn in?
Yes, I just remembered that. Go ahead and swear you all in. Please raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
All right, thank you. You may proceed.
So we read thoroughly through the staff comments and concerns and conditions, and we have some proposed changes to help with those concerns. The first document we're looking at, oh, sorry, I got to pass out. There you go, please. Should I wait until you get your copies?
Also, please make sure you're speaking into the microphone.
I'm sorry.
Thanks.
The first document you're looking at shows the examples that we had used in the application, the original submission, and we added heights from the street level to the overall height of the houses. And these are all houses that are either historic or have been recently approved by the COA, and our house is coming in under all of them in height from the street. Even though our grade is really, I know you guys probably walked around the lot, it is kind of deceptive, but it does go about 11 feet or more grade change from the street to the back of the property line. We sited the house so that we could approach from the street so that there's not a huge run of stairs that go straight up to the house. We have an actual landing spot to take a breath and then go up to the front porch. And then the back of the house, We're just out of grade for a crawl space. This allows the house to transition to aging in place, and there's maybe 2 to 3 steps in the back that we will be having. And that's where the family's gonna, that will be their entrance versus the more formal entrance from the street. So that, anybody have any questions on the height? Or should I go through the presentation and then ask for questions?
Yeah, go through the presentation, and then we'll have questions later. Thank you.
Oops, sorry. Oops. And this is just another document showing, I try and use the houses that I've worked on so that I know exactly what the heights are and that I'm not misrepresenting anything. So these are the Mosley Lane houses, which are the new houses that I've done recently that were approved by COA. They are also sitting up on the grade, and it just shows our house, the 417 Watauga, as compared to the Mosley Lane houses. And again, we come in under the height. The stepping back from the street, I think, helps too to kind of soften that height as well. So those were all considerations that we took when designing the house. Oops, I keep going backwards. Go back. Then we started working on the staff's concern about the different window sizes. So we changed we had 2 smaller transom windows up in the office, and we changed that to a double hung to match the 2 that are in the pantry and the kitchen. And then we do have one more rectangular, we made it a more rectangular window. It's in a bathroom, it's upstairs in the dormer, and we're past that 50% line that the staff requested. This side we also updated. There was a window that was close to the corner, and staff requested us to move the window further away from the corner, over 12 inches, so we moved it 15. There is still one rectangular window up in the dormer. It's in a bathroom. I hate having bathrooms that don't have windows. So that is why we did that. And it is in front of the 50% line, so we're asking the committee just to consider where it is and that it's in the dormer. Oops, gosh, I keep doing the wrong thing, sorry. Okay, then we addressed the staff's concern about the amount of paving. So as we were laying out the house on the site, we also are concerned about backing a car out of the driveway, especially that right-hand bay that's, pretty much in front of the house, the back of the house. So that brick surface, or the concrete surface, is part of trying to back the car up, get it around the house, not back into the house, and down the driveway. There is a teenager in the house, and Mom is kind of a crazy driver too, so.
I didn't say that.
She's not here, we can say that. So we decided to help reduce the impervious square footage and built site by bringing mulch and stepping stones out past the rear steps, and there'll be flower beds and other such things. But it takes about 100 square feet out of that impervious surface and gets us back down to 54%, which is closer to the numbers that we had in our map of adjacent neighbors. Because we were at 56 and went down to 54. And this just shows a car trying to back out, and then we're, it on the site there. Okay. And then the landscape plan, we heard the staff's comments about replacing the canopy of the 3 hackberries that are being removed. And we're suggesting to place a white oak in the spot that we had a Japanese maple. This will have a very large canopy when it is mature. Let's see. And then we showed the mulch and stepping stones and the flower beds and the new landscape plan too. Okay, so this is A staff concern was to make sure that we were okay with the garage doors being a smooth finish. Yes, we are. But the homeowners would like to just ask the committee to consider a 2-bay wide garage door for those same concerns of backing a car out and getting it safely down the driveway. And so this is the design that the homeowners are hoping that you guys would take a look at and consider. And then we included some more diagrams of trying to back the car out with the center support included. And then the second one doesn't have the center support. And then we submitted some more specific information about the garage doors. Sorry, threw a lot of stuff at you. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Hold on just a moment. Make sure I do the next thing the right way. All right, thank you so much. Are there any members of the public who would like to provide comment on this application? Okay, go ahead and come on down. Just you, Mr. Crew? I'm surprised it's not more. I'll have a seat. Thank you so much. Please introduce yourself.
Chris
state your name
Crew,
and address,
306 Elm Street.
All right, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, you may proceed.
I just want to thank everyone for this being here today. You know, we've spent many, many hours in this room discussing possibilities for this problematic property, and I think at last here is a solution. So I appreciate your sticking with it and getting to this. I appreciate this new design. I share the staff's concern about the pavement. Other than that, I've got nothing to say. You know, other than that, most modern cars have a backup camera in them now. So yeah, those are supposed to work. My new car is 30 years old, so I couldn't tell you anything about that. But I heartily approve this. Thank you.
Are there any other members of the public who'd like to provide comment on the application? All right. Seeing none, given that that wasn't a negative comment, I assume there's no response that you'd like to provide. So we'll go ahead and move to committee questions.
Yeah, I've got a few, Ashley.
Of course you do.
Sorry, you know me. Thanks for the updated information. I think it really is very helpful. So while we're on this slide, the garage door, I mean, I feel like I need to ask, even though I see this image, it is available in a gang together, like it comes as a single unit that appears like the two carriage doors.
That
is that
is
right?
correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Could we back up a slide to the tree planting plan?
Yes.
So closer to the street is where you've swapped out species of tree, is that correct?
We did. We had a Japanese maple, which is not going to be nearly the canopy of this tree. We are taking out quite a few trees that were either in the middle of the site where the house is planned to go, or were on the property line and struggling or leaning, or so this is our hope to help bring that tree canopy back.
And then on the west side of the property where there's the red buds,
Yes.
what are, I see in the legend it says 25 by 25. Is that the mature height?
Is the mature. We
Okay.
wouldn't be able to, height and width.
And is that new in the application, or was that there before?
That
Okay.
was there before.
Staff, is that considered a understory tree at that height? I'm sorry, I don't know that.
It's an existing tree, so
Okay.
it's counted in existing
Okay.
or proposed canopy, whichever. I
Got it.
don't know that we would make a call on that one way or the
Okay.
other, since it's not being impacted.
So it says new.
It's a new tree.
At least on the, and I'm
Sorry.
looking at the left side of this drawing.
The overall goal is replacement of the mature canopy tree coverage in time, so that when trees are coming down, other trees are being planted to eventually take their place in that cycle. With this lot, of course, this has never been developed, so there are a lot of trees. There will be more trees removed than can be replaced if it's going to accommodate a new house footprint. In terms of replacement, we typically just encourage similar species, similar height, similar mature coverage for whatever's being removed.
Got it. Thank you.
So it's not necessarily a minus that it's an understory tree if it's replacing an understory.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. And I was able to look at the application versus this new exhibit just to do a comparison. So I think that is helpful. And then I guess on the projects that you had provided of your own, are the Mosley ones, this is just saving me like looking things up quick, are those in the HOD, the Mosley addresses? They are in the HOD, right?
Yeah.
I remember one of them, but not the other.
The first one, I think it's 519 Mosley, was approved during the pandemic. I think it's in 2020. That was rough. It was a Zoom. And then the last Mosley was last year. It's under construction now. It's actually up, not anywhere close to being finished, but it does have the siding, the windows, roof on.
Okay, that's helpful. And because I do remember that, I just want to make sure they were relevant because they're new in the HOD.
They are.
I know they're a few blocks away. And then on this cover exhibit with the height comparisons above grade, could you just remind us, so you've got several examples, which of these is the closest physical location, would you, at your estimate, to 417 Watauga? Would it be the Linden one, maybe, or?
I mean, they're all relatively in that back part, kind of near the cemetery. Linden's pretty close. That's the historic one. And it's probably one of the taller. It is, and it's got the straight run of stairs all the way up to the front porch.
Yeah.
I have been up there, and it is a hike.
Yeah.
So we felt it was important to put that landing there just to give a break.
Got it.
The 601 East Lane's not too far. They're all kind of right around.
Okay. Thank you. I don't have any more questions.
Any other questions from the committee?
I have a question. I just want to be clear that the new drawing with the one garage door is what you are proposing.
That's what we're hoping.
Okay. So the plan, that's sort of a diagram of the second.
I have that
Diagram
still
of
being the two bit.
backing out.
Yes, that's exactly.
That's the correct, I
That
guess,
is
plan drawing that we should be looking at.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
I don't have any other questions.
Any other questions from the committee?
I do. Let's see. I'm looking through your evidence for garages from your original application, and I'm looking at 425 North Bloodworth. That didn't have to be your project. Do you know anything about that?
425 North Blood. I don't think so.
Okay,
Is
I
that
wanted
the?
to check, because it appears to be a very similar door style to the one you're proposing, so I'm wondering if it was a COA.
The application's so long.
You're good. I think since you don't have the background information, I can ask staff.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Hold on.
As far as it appears to be like a single big double door instead of with the.
I'm going to need to go find it, too.
No, you're good.
Yeah, sorry. Looking. Those were put in before we did the double door, so. Is that the? That's not the big one on Bloodworth. Is it white?
It's like yellow.
Oh, it's yellow. Oh, no.
It's on page 72 of the PDF, if you're looking.
Thank you. I was wondering that.
Sorry.
It's after.
Yeah, it's a dark door,
Oh,
but it
wait,
appears
I've
to
got
be
it.
that same style.
Oh, yes. So I've always thought it was a historic garage. It looks like a historic garage. I believe it's on the Sanborn map. I honestly don't know. It's an older garage.
Yeah. I'm just curious because it's
It is similar, you're right.
photographic evidence. I guess.
Yes. Yes.
While we wait for staff to research that, are any other questions from the committee? We have an
The
answer?
two-story garage facing Polk Street at 425 North Bloodworth was built circa 1940, which is right at the end of the period of significance.
Okay. Interesting. Thank you.
Any other final questions from the committee? All right, seeing none, I will close the evidentiary portion of the hearing. You can have a seat. Thank you very much. And we'll proceed with committee discussion.
I think it's a good application.
Yep.
I do too.
And I really appreciate, I just want to say, I appreciate that the applicant not only acknowledged the staff concerns, but acted on them. We love to see it. We love that you're flexible and really appreciate it. And to echo what was said earlier, this is a tough site and we've seen applications for it and really appreciate the sensitivity of it. And so it feels like a good one.
Do we agree that the garage door is acceptable?
I think so.
Yeah.
I've found evidence that I think is showing it's congruous.
I also agree with those comments. Based on what's been changed with the windows on that dormer, does any of the conditions need to be altered, or are they good?
I think we can strike through
That number 2.
1, 2, the staff report number 1, 2, 3, and 4, and if we are to make a motion, and I'm comfortable doing that.
As it stands, to approve as is, that is correct. 1, 2, and 4 have been addressed in the revised changes already, so you wouldn't need a condition for that. If you'd like to approve the paving as proposed, you should eliminate condition 3. Condition 5 states that the garage doors should have a smooth painted finish, which at the moment, painted finish is not proposed, so you should strike that language if you are going to approve it with the stain finish as proposed. 3C. And strike the placard condition C for the revised landscaping plan and the garage door specifications
You're making those
and the
notes?
site plan,
Okay.
7B, C, and D.
Got it. Thank you for that. If there's no other discussion, I'm happy to make a motion that, based on the application, the congruity analysis, the concerns in the staff report, prior similar applications, and the testimony during this public meeting, I move to approve the amended application with the following conditions. 1, that the garage doors have a stained finish as proposed. 2, that the metal roofing have flat pans with no striations or ridges. 3, that the following materials and specifications be submitted to and approved by staff prior to issuance of the blue placard. A revised plan and side elevation drawings. Just for record, I know they were submitted with the amended application. B, manufacturer's roofing specification, including profiles and color. And C, foundation, site steps, brick installation pattern, product images, and colors. And condition 4, that the following materials and specification be approved by staff prior to installation or construction. A, asphalt roof specifications, standing seam, roof specifications, including flat pan width, rib height, low ridge cap profile, color and finish. C, paint schedule and physical paint and stain samples. D, exterior lighting locations and specifications, if any. E, gutter, downspout locations and specifications, if any. F, HVAC equipment specifications, location and screening details. G, house numbers, mailbox, utility panel locations and specifications, and all other exterior elements not included in the application.
All right, motion has been made to approve the application. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion or debate on the motion?
There
I
needs
see
to be a
staff.
clarification in the motions. Apologies, that's a staff error. We have the metal roof specifications listed under both placard conditions and installation conditions. If you can clarify under which, 8B is our typical language, so just wherever that condition should live.
Let's put it under 4B. Standing seam roof specifications, including flat pan width, rib height, low ridge cap profile, color and finish, and not to have any striations or ridges. Is that adequate? And then just strike it out of the prior
Yes,
section.
so installation related, not placard related. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, the motion has been amended. Is there a second to the amended motion?
Second.
Any discussion or debate on the motion? Hearing none, the question before the committee is the approval of the application subject to the stated conditions. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Congratulations. The application will be, the approval will be final after next month's meeting when the amendments are approved and signed. So thank you. All right, next we will move to application COA 70-2025, 1027 West South Street. While the applicant is making their way down, I'll recognize staff for their presentation.
Yes, allow me to scroll to the right place. So as you mentioned, this is case COA 70-2025 for 1027 West South Street. It is located in the Boylan Heights Historic District, and the nature of the request is to demolish contributing primary structure. This is a view of the property from West South Street. And again, just taking a walk around the property. This is the west facade, and again, the rear yard, existing rear facade, accessory structure, east facade. The summary of staff concerns is that no evidence was provided to assert that the structure does not contribute to the special character of the Boylan Heights Historic District. It is unclear if site features are included, and alternatives to demolition, including salvage, were not addressed. And the applicant has provided additional materials that address the site features, and we'll include that in their presentation.
Okay, thank you. I'll recognize the applicant. Please introduce yourself.
Good afternoon. Michael Birch with Longleaf Law Partners here on behalf of the owners of the property. Thank you for the staff presentation. And in addition to what I believe is in the slides, I also have hard copies of those updated, materials. So I will land here and just speak off of this slide, which is the updated site plan that identifies those improvements that are proposed for demolition. So again, as mentioned in the staff report, we are here on the application for COA to demolish the principal structure as well as some secondary structures there. As this exhibit highlights, that includes the gravel driveway that's identified there, as well as the perimeter fence and the shed in the backyard. As well as the the walkway to the house. So again, just addressing some of staff's comments, we did, again, you have now that updated set of plans that shows structures improvements proposed for demolition. These plans also provide dimensions for the overall structure and length distance from the property corners. And it also reflects the revised window style on the south-facing elevation. So again, that kind of concludes our comments on this request for COA for demolition, understanding that the committee may impose conditions related to timing. So.
Thank you. Are there members of the public who wish to provide comment on the application? All right, please come. All right, how about you all just kind of come forward, sit up close to the front, and then we'll just go one by one. Please introduce yourself.
I'm Matthew Brown. I live at 401 North Person Street.
All right, I'm going to go and swear you in, and then you can begin. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You may proceed.
Thank you all for your service, and thank you for letting me speak. The house in question is a wonderful craftsman bungalow. It's a superb example of the style. It's got the beautiful 4/1 windows, the porch posts with the lattice, the exposed rafter tails. It is very much a contributing structure. Some of you may be familiar with there's a very famous historic district in Pasadena, California called Bungalow Heaven. And a lot of tourists go there because it's just a wonderful collection of craftsman bungalows. Well, Boylan Heights is Raleigh's bungalow heaven. It is a wonderful collection of craftsman bungalows, mostly from the 20s, and it's the best collection in Raleigh and possibly the state. And this is exactly the sort of house that contributes to that character. So it's very much a contributing structure. As far as I know, there have never been any of them torn down since the creation of the Boylan Heights Historic District. But if this one's torn down, it won't be the first. It will set a terrible precedent. If people see that they can tear these down, it'll be open season, and it threatens every house in that neighborhood and all the other historic districts. So I implore the commission to put as much of a delay on this demolition as possible, and I implore the applicant to consider the effect of this application on the rest of the neighborhood and all of the city. Thank you.
Next. Please state your name and address.
My name is Michael Motzinger. I live at 906 West South Street in Boylan Heights.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You may proceed.
Mr. Chairman and the rest of the commissioners, thank you for the work that you do and for giving me the time. My time will be less than 2 minutes, I promise. My wife and I live in one of those bungalows, 101 years old in Boylan Heights. We love our house and our neighborhood. Unfortunately, you, the members of the RHDC, have been placed in the unenviable position of enforcing regulations that sometimes upset and frustrate residents who may want you to be more accommodating. Perhaps those limiting rules may be changed in the future, but you are charged with enforcing, not rewriting the rules. Even more painful is that you need to abide by North Carolina state statutes that destroy the very historic homes that you are charged with protecting. The case before you illustrates the danger to the community of the draconian rules that are currently in place. This COA case, tearing down a beautiful and sound house, sets a precedent that threatens the integrity of this and of all historic overlays districts in Raleigh and across the state. For you who must honor the COA application, I urge you to enforce the only tool you have at your disposal. At this time, please vote to delay the destruction for 365 days to allow the applicants to develop an alternate acceptable plan. At the same time, I will be calling on my legislators. Thank you.
Thank you. Just for the record, please introduce yourself again.
Chris Crew, 306 Elm Street.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You may proceed.
Thank you. My comments are necessarily directed to the commission. I hope, however, that property owners of historic properties everywhere will hear this. Property owners in historic districts should consider themselves stewards of a community resource. Our historic fabric is not a commodity to be exploited for profit. The tear down should be the last resort for a structure too ruined for preservation and adaptive reuse. Other alternatives should be considered. This is what happened to Charlotte in the late 1980s. Their historic districts hold nothing to ours. The demolition of 1027 West South would represent an adverse impact on a community resource. And, you know, generally when government bodies consider adverse impacts on resources, they ask that a mitigation be done on that. The mitigating factor in a demo like this seems to me to be consideration of what is to replace what is being removed. And while I know you are constrained in refusing this demolition request, I hope that everyone will think about for future activities, considering what we're giving up, what we're losing, and what will replace it, and what is the balance of the value there. So please, I ask you to forestall this demolition as long as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Please introduce yourself and provide your address.
Yes, Sandro Giesler, 805 West Lenore Street, also Boylan Heights.
Please raise your right hand, sir. I'll go ahead and swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You may proceed.
Thank you. And dear commissioners, thank you for all that you do for the preservation of our historic neighborhoods. And I want to present a couple of facts that I think are crucial when assessing this COA. The request for the demolition is very concerning, and not only because we risk losing a historic home, but also because it's a type of case that could very well occur elsewhere, as others have said. I have confidence that in this case, Casey and John will not harm the neighborhood. It showcases a twofold risk, and that's what I want to point out, that this could occur of the risk that could occur in this situation. On the one hand, there is the risk, I think, that everybody sees, that pretty much anybody could buy a historic home and just tear it down. There's no, that's just the legal framework. The other risk on the other end of the spectrum, which I want to specifically point out and acknowledge as well, is that anybody could threaten with tearing a house down and in the hopes of getting anything approved. I want to specifically say I don't think this is the case in this matter, but this is the framework of risk that you guys are operating in. Either extreme is a bad outcome. And the third fact that I see, and it kind of feels weird as a layperson speaking to experts and pointing out facts. I'm sure you all know all that, but I still feel it's important to point out in case it isn't. This house, looking at the tax records as they are currently published, the value of the property itself is just about exactly a third of the overall property value. I happen to live in a house with the same economic measures. It's a small house where my family lives, and with the development of property values in our area, the risk that we see here becomes more and more a bigger risk. As the value of houses relative to property declines, we have not just risk that we think could happen. This is a clear mathematical risk that is increasing. So based on those facts, I also want to urge the Commission to use the full 365 days that you can impose, recognizing that is a hardship on the homeowners. And because of that, at the same time, I want to urge the Commission to be creative, to be forward-thinking, and to actively work in good faith. A word earlier was used, accommodating. I specifically do not say accommodating, but I use the words be creative, be forward-thinking, and do everything that you on your side can do to stay somewhere in the middle where we have a good outcome and don't decay to one of the extremes, which would be a result that I don't think anybody wants. Because I'm demolishing the house is clearly the worst possible outcome, and I ask you as the Commission to do your part to work over those hopefully 365 days to prevent that from happening and to find a good outcome for the neighborhood and the homeowners and everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Please state your name and address.
Don Davis, 603 South Boylan Avenue.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You may proceed.
First thing I have to say is when this house was built in 1924, Elizabeth and George Spangler raised 4 children in that little bungalow. And that tells you something about the history in and of itself. But mostly I want to speak directly to the character of the district, which is when Boylan Heights was laid out and was planned, the houses around Montford Hall had to be the expensive houses, and they had to be a minimum of $3,000 value. And then as you went down the hill to the south and to the west, the value of the houses dropped to $2,500 to $2,000, till when you got to South Street, it was $1,500, and down to Dorothea, it was $1,000. And so that's the reason there's so many bungalows on South Street and Dorothea Drive, is because those were the houses you could build for $1,000 or $1,500. To take this house down and to build something larger is completely contrary to how the district was set up in the first place. So I encourage you to do the maximum, the 365 delays, so we can figure out a way to save and preserve the character of the district. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public who wish to, I see one, any others who wish to provide comment on the application? All right, come on down. Please introduce yourself and state your address.
Carla Oakley, 402 Kinsey Street, Boylan Heights.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You may proceed.
I just wanted to say I was in front of this commission once before. We requested a change for to build an ADU in our backyard, and we love that ADU. Our daughter, who has some significant challenges, is ensconced in it like a mollusk in her very own shell, and it has been a really beautiful addition to us. That was built by the current homeowner of this request, and in fact designed by the same architect involved in this. And what I want to say is that as a homeowner in this community, I really value people who've lived here for years, who really see the value of the historic neighborhood, who show in their work that they are willing to work and to try to help preserve that. And so what I would really hope for is an outcome that allows us to respect the very, very shrewd, wise comments that the gentleman made about property values, and understand that very wealthy people can buy a property in Boylan Heights, wait 365 days, and tear it down. And if we really want to preserve the nature of the community, we allow homeowners who show commitment to it to let the community evolve. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there additional members of the public who'd like to provide comment on the application? All right, seeing none, I will provide the applicant the opportunity to provide any rebuttal. Okay. All right, next we'll proceed with, I'll just note that the applicant has declined the opportunity to provide rebuttal. We'll move next to committee questions.
Mr. Chair, I have some for both staff and the applicant. Should I do the staff questions first? Because they might help the context.
Yeah, go ahead. We'll do the staff first, and
okay.
then the applicant can provide a response to those questions as well.
So I guess, Colette, these are for you, if you can help me with any of them. Could you I read back through the character essay, the special character essay for Boylan Heights and the guidelines. Could you remind us, do you know the period of significance?
For Boylan Heights, the period of significance is 1907 to 1930.
Thank you. And do you know how many properties are in the HOD?
Okay, for full disclosure, Rob emailed these questions to me earlier today, so I had an opportunity to look this up. I don't just know this off the top of my head.
Yeah, I'm sorry for the quick. I think it's helpful
No, I
context,
understand.
though.
So there were 280 structures described in the National Register report, and at that time, that did not include the 13 empty lots. So in total, there were 293 parcels in the neighborhood. That some of those empty lots have been infilled, so there are now more than 280 structures, but that's a good starting point.
Okay, and thank you. And do we know if any primary structures have been demolished from the period of significance in this HOD?
Yes. So by the nature of the way we keep our data, I can provide you an accurate number dating from 2007 to the present. We have all of that digitized. Anything prior to 2007, we just have in paper copies, and we do not have a helpful database to look through those. So since 2007, there have been 3 other demolition applications. One was for 634 West Lenore. That a 365-day was imposed, and that since has been demolished and new construction infilled in its place. 728 South Boylan, that was not acted upon. It was approved with a delay, but the structure still remains today. And then one non-contributing property was demolished at 1102 West Lenore, and that is now 2 structures have been built in its place. And
thank you.
About 5 accessory structures. I'm not entirely sure about the number prior to 2007, but in the early 90s, as part of the Western Boulevard expansion, there were previously 6 properties on the south side of Dorothea. I'm not exactly sure how many of those were demolished. A number of them were relocated to some of the empty lots that exist in the neighborhood, but I did not have time to dig into how many were relocated and how many are demolished.
Okay, that's okay. And then I did have the one other question about, because I think it could be helpful, to some of the ongoing dialogue, but 920 Cutler, which was formerly Cutler Street Grocery, looked like sometime around 1997 it was added on to, was that a COA?
I think it was 620 Cutler Street, I think is the address.
Okay,
is what I
maybe
found.
okay.
And yes, that application was approved through the COA process. I think, however, it is very important to note that that application was reviewed under a very different set of the design guidelines. And at the time, the guidelines that existed in place for the neighborhood, the application was congruous.
Okay, thank you for that context. I think that's helpful. And then, Mr. Chair, I do have a few questions for the applicant. And thanks for providing the updated documents. I think it clarifies some of the extents of demolition. When we see the primary, the notes about demolition of the primary structure, what's being proposed is all the way to the ground, right? Foundations and everything?
That's correct.
Okay. And I realize you might not have the answer to this, but is there a plan for a new proposed structure yet, or in the works, or is there a timeline for it?
So plans for a new structure are in the works.
Okay.
Timeline to get back to this stage for a COA for a new structure, a couple of months, I would imagine.
Okay. That's helpful. Thank you. And then and I do mean all these questions to try to be helpful, has a property survey been done, like a land survey?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And have any alternatives to demolition been considered?
Well, you may recall that a COA was in front of you, I believe, was acted on in April that proposed an addition to this, which was denied. So that was the alternative to demolition.
Okay. I don't have any other questions. Thank you.
Any other questions for the applicant? All right, thank you very much. You can have a seat. I'll close the evidentiary portion of the hearing and move to committee discussion. I'll just start off by adding, as many of our public comment has stated, state law pretty much directs the result of what's going to happen today. The only thing that, the only discretion that the committee has is to whether to impose the 365-day delay or not. Given that the applicant hasn't presented evidence that the property itself has no particular significance or value toward the character of the district, I think that this 365 delay, demo delay is appropriate in this situation. And I also think that one of the other tasks that in this process is that an RHDC appointed volunteer be appointed, or liaison be appointed to assist the property owner in reviewing all other alternatives for demolition. And I think Rob should be that individual.
Yeah, accepted.
All right. Is there any other discussion on the motion or discussion on the application before we make a motion?
Yeah. I'll jump off of your statement that evidence that this house is not significant was not provided, and use it as a convenient way to say this is very disappointing and is not reflective of what waste preservationists hope to see in these cases. And I think in cases like this, and I really acknowledge all the comments that were made by the public, and acknowledge that we live in a really volatile time in this city for our historic overlay districts, especially those that contain houses of a more modest size. They are constantly under the eye of development and of people who conveniently want to live, close to the active areas of our town. And so as preservationists, we want to protect them, even if they are smaller. They have been codified under their historic overlay districts as having value beyond just being useful. They're cultural objects. And you can't prove that this isn't a contributing culturally significant object, which is why I believe the 365-day delay is very appropriate. And I hope in that time, the applicant sees that and sees that there are paths forward to getting the space they would like on this site. I cannot speak to the other case, or it's not recommended. And so I would just say in future, we will be looking closely at what comes next for this site. But I would hope that the value of this property beyond its usefulness becomes apparent over that time, and another path forward that allows this house to be its own steward of the future comes to pass.
Any other comments from the committee?
I just want to say I agree with Lauren's statement. Thanks, Lauren, for sharing that. I think the staff input was helpful on the percentage of, the very limited percentage of other demolished primary structures in this HOD. I realize the applicants do have the legal right to move forward with the demolition. I also understand the desire for more space. That's why I was asking about the survey, because, you know, if I look at some of the available information online through IMAPs, it looks like there might even be more space to the west of the property than what's shown on this site plan. So I would just encourage the owners and their design team to take a look at that. I know we can't deny the demolition outright, but I feel like we need to be a voice of responsibility and urge some restraint, and really to, you know, we're here to champion preservation. So, you know, once the house is gone, it's gone, and the most sustainable option is the structure that is already there. So if there's any way to preserve any portion of this house, I think this commission would find that favorable. And, you know, really would love to see in the new plans some form from the applicants to, you know, consider the impact of the loss of a structure like this. It's, you know, I know they've been in the neighborhood a long time. The house has been here much longer. Would love to see both stay. So I would just like to offer to work with the applicants on their new plan. But I understand how we got here, but I share Commissioner Woodard's sentiment that it's a disappointing outcome.
Any other comments from the committee? All right, hearing none, I move that the application be approved subject to the following conditions. First, that a 365-day demolition delay be imposed, and that Commissioner Rob Allen serve as a liaison to the property owner to assist the owner in reviewing all alternatives to demolition and or salvage opportunities during the 365-day delay. Is there a second to the motion?
Seconded.
Any discussion or debate? Hearing none, the question before the committee is the approval of the application subject to the stated conditions. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. The decision will be final after next month's meeting when the minutes are approved and signed. Thank you. Do we need a recess, or we want to keep going, or how are we feeling?
One more, right?
Yeah. Let's go. All right, we'll proceed. Last item on today's agenda is COA 71-2025. This is 312 Oakwood Avenue. And recognize the applicant to proceed to the dais. And while they are making their way down, I'll recognize staff for their presentation.
This is case COA 71-2025 for 312 Oakwood Avenue, located in the Oakwood Historic District. The nature of the request is to construct a rear addition and dormers, alter window location, and remove and alter existing rear additions and dormer. This is a view of the property from Oakwood Avenue. And again, this is a view down the driveway. From the end of the driveway, looking into the rear yard. And a view from the driveway. This is again a view from that previous point looking back into the rear yard. You'll notice it is a very large lot. The existing rear facade. And it's very difficult to see the full west facade, but this is a minor detail. The summary of staff concerns is that material details typically provided as conditions, such as paint samples, shingle specifications, gutters and downspouts, et cetera, were not provided. And the applicant has provided some new information and has a presentation available.
Recognize the applicant. Please introduce yourself.
Sorry, it's me again. Ashley Moritz with Pell Street Studio Architect.
Mike Frangello, 312 Oakwood Avenue, the property owner.
Go ahead and raise your hands. I'll go ahead and swear you in. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
All right, you may proceed.
Yes.
Thank you.
So we are happy to provide the conditions that meet the staff concerns. And then we do have one request. There is a rather large window that we're trying to save. We moved it to the closet on the same wall, but we're requesting to see, it's a big window. It's 34 inches wide, and it's 6 foot tall. I think it's 6'4", actually. The homeowners would love to have it in a spot where they can enjoy it and people can see it and we can celebrate it. So our request is to think about putting it on the rear elevation at the end of the grand hallway that you are going to be able to see from the front door all the way back. So we're just asking that you guys consider that as an option to move the window location. Oh, I'm sorry. I have the drawings. You have the drawings. I didn't show you. So shows where the location is now, which is in the main closet, and then it shows where we'd like to put it on the long hallway in the rear elevation. Oops. So this shows the updated side elevation without the window. And then this is the updated rear elevation with the historic window located at the end of the hallway.
All right, thank you. Anything else?
That's it.
All right. Are there any members of the public who'd like to provide comment on the application? All right, seeing none, we will proceed with committee questions.
I'll go. You go ahead. You're already leaning
I'm just
in.
curious whether the addition containing the window in question falls within the period of significance.
You might need.
Sorry, I'm pulled away. Falls within the period of significance.
In the application, Ms. Morris did provide a drawing that attempts to show the stages of progression. I do not, off the top of my head, remember.
I'll look for that.
Which phase, where the existing window is located?
The existing window is located, okay, wait. I did provide, oh, no, not that one.
You're good.
The existing window, sorry, long day.
No, you're good.
The historic window is located in the part of the house that is part of the period of significance of the neighborhood.
Gotcha.
I can't put my hand on what exact year,
You're fine.
but
Okay, I just found it.
Okay, sorry. But it is part of the period of significance. Those diagrams show that some of the porches that we're reorganizing, they're old porches that were filled in, we're reorganizing them and making them into a main suite. And those were before after 1950. Those are the ones that we're really kind of messing around with.
Sure.
Yeah, it looks like it was included in the 1914 edition.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The house has been through a lot of change.
Yeah.
So, similar questions about the window on the right side, which I guess is west, right? If I'm not mistaken. So there was a window, a 2/2 double hung that's been removed from this, correct? From this elevation, correct? And that's what's being relocated? Okay, so no other, and tell me about the high window on the back. Is that new?
That is new, yes.
Okay.
That is part of the reorganization of the main suite. That's in the bathroom.
Okay, and sorry, it's you can imagine it's a little bit of catch up when we get the new materials, and like they're very helpful, but sometimes I'm trying to I had kind of like, the storyline in my head, and then it gets shaken up a little bit. So
happy to try and help.
and I think you said this already, but where you had previously, where there was an existing window, that the window that was shown in the application that we received, with the agenda, the prior version of this elevation that had that 2/2 double hung window, that was an existing window in that location, or had it been proposed to be shifted over? Does that question make sense?
Yes. So, okay, going way back. Okay, so the original application, we took the window out, and then the staff comments came back, and they really would like for us to preserve that window. We looked at the window, we like to preserve the window. So the second round, we put the window 33 inches, we moved it on the same wall into that main closet. Does that?
It does, because you have a demo drawing that shows it ghosted in, and that's very helpful exhibit to have. And I guess where I'm going with this question is there of any use of that existing openings framing for a window, or you would just like it to go away in the current?
So it would go in the main closet. And you live in a historic house. I live in a historic house. There's no storage in historic houses. So they were pretty excited about having a main closet.
And the reason I'm asking is just it's a lot of blank wall.
It is.
Without a window, and it seems like one should be there, and then knowing there is one there makes it. I know we're talking. It's a huge project, and we're dialed into this one detail because it's arguably visible from the street, but it's a lot of blank wall on a single facade.
It is, and we can leave the framing in place so that the next homeowner wants to put that window back. We can leave them the blueprint for that. But I think the homeowner's preference is to cover it up and move it.
Understood.
Yeah.
Okay, and so my only follow-up question is for the new location of that window. What is the window? It looks like maybe there's a bathroom there today at the end of the center hall.
There is, and that's part of that after 1950 porch infill.
Okay.
And so we were just gonna take, and it's really low everything that was done in that after 1950. I mean, the house is gorgeous, the really tall ceiling heights, and then you go into this powder room that's like not even 8 feet tall. Yeah. So we were just trying to make the house feel like it's.
Yeah, I saw the ceiling heights on the plan.
Yeah,
I was
it's
pretty envious. Okay, so it's a non-contributing window on the rear facade.
Correct.
Okay, got it. I don't have any other questions. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Do you have any idea for color for the exterior?
We're going to keep it the same way.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right, seeing none, we'll close the evidentiary hearing, and we'll move to committee discussion. Y'all can have a seat. Thank you very much. Any comments on the application?
It's a lot to reconcile. I think a lot of little additions over time, and I think this really, it's not embellishing, but it does improve the house a lot for 2025. And I was surprised how much extra square footage they were able to get without, such a steep roof pitch that I feel like it's going to be a good addition that does not negatively impact the house. So I'm impressed. I think it's a good application.
I think it's the right way to do an addition on a historic structure. Hopefully.
And I was asking a lot of questions about that window, but I understand where they're going with it, and I think a good contractor can make it feel like the applicant said, just leave the framing in place, but cover it up, and it's there if anyone ever wanted to put it back. So,
any other discussion? All right.
I'll make a motion that, based on the congruity analysis, the concerns in the staff report, and the testimony during the public meeting, and the additional exhibits provided, I move to approve the amended application with the following conditions. One, that the following be provided to and accepted by staff prior to installation or construction. 1A, manufacturer's samples for paint if it's changing. 1B, HVAC location and screening if changing. 1C, manufacturer's specification for shingles. 1D, gutters and downspout locations and specifications, if any. And 1E, exterior lighting, if any, installation locations and specifications.
Motion's been made to approve the application. Is there a second?
Seconded.
Any discussion or debate on the motion? Hearing none, the question for the committee's approval of the application subject to the stated conditions. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Congratulations. The application's approval will be final after next month's meeting when the minutes are approved and signed. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other discussion or items to come before the committee? Seeing none, we are adjourned.